Learn how to make tables and draw graphs on the TI-84 graphing calculator. So before we go on, we're assuming that you have installed one of the TI-84 calculator apps. If you have not, you need to do so immediately. For iPhone, it's called Calculate 84. For Android, it is Wabbit Emu, and you need to select TI-84 plus SE. You also need to watch the calculator scavenger hunt video and complete the worksheet that goes with it. If you have done those things, then you can proceed with this video and it will make sense to you. So this is my TI-84 emulator on my computer, but it looks very similar to one that you've already installed on your phone. Again, today we're going to make tables and draw graphs with the emulator, with the calculator. So, to draw a graph, first of all, the only graphs you can draw are functions, and all functions start with y equals. So that's what this button means. So go ahead and press the y equal button, and on your calculator you should get something like this. So I can graph any number of functions, but we're going to do one at a time. That's all we need to do. Let's go ahead and put in a function that is linear. Let's say we have a linear function that has a slope of 2/3. So we need to put in a fraction. So reviewing that, I would press alpha y equal and select number 1. Now I've got the ability to put a fraction in there, so we will put in a 2/3. Whoops, I didn't drop down, so I'm going to back up, which is certainly a mistake that you could make. And you saw me press delete. Let's go ahead and drop down. 2/3. I want to get out from underneath here, so I press the right arrow to do that. All right, now this is new. We're going to put a variable in. The variables are right here. And as far as we're concerned, all of our variables for graphing are going to be x's. So I have an x input and a y output. So I press that x, and then I'm going to put in something at random. Let's go ahead and say +3. All right, to graph this, and it's going to graph in the shape of a line, and you should have seen plenty of these in 8th grade. There's my graph button. So I graph it, and the calculator draws the graph. If I want to look at the table, and that's what you're going to have to do in lesson 2.1, then I do second and graph, because it says table right up there in blue. So second and table. And these are the x values that would go in, and these are the y values that would come out for the function that we just typed. And I can scroll up and down through these x values. There it goes to the negatives, and I can go both directions. So in lesson 2.1, you're going to have to fill in a table, and this would be a really, really fast way to fill in the table because all the numbers are here. All right, let's try another one. So I'm going to go back to y equal. This is the one we just graphed and we looked at the table for, so I'm going to press the clear button and get this out. Let's try one that is a square root function, another one you're going to have to do in lesson 2.1. So I'm still here. I still have just pressed y equal. In fact, let's get all the way out. I press second mode to get out of this. I'm back at the main screen. So if I press y equal, I'm back here where I can put my function in. Let's do a square root function. That's right here above the x squared. It's in blue, so second square root. And I need a variable in there, so I'm going to put x, and let's get out from underneath that and put in a -2. So I put in the square root of x, and -2 is outside the square root symbol. We're going to graph that, so I press this button up here to graph it. That's what it looks like on the graph, which isn't real interesting, but it's a square root. And now let's go look at the table. That's a blue key right above here. So second and graph again, and I get the table for that. Look at this, I got all these error messages. When you have lesson 2.1, you're going to hear about why there's error messages in here. But again, I can look through here. I can scroll in both directions. This goes that way. Oh, all the negatives have errors. I wonder why. I can keep going this way. And I can find any number, any value for y that matches with a value for x. All right, let's try another one. Let's go ahead and get out of this. Remember, we get out by pressing second mode. I'm back at the home screen. Now we're going to do a new function, so I'm going to press y equal. Let's clear this one out. I press the clear button here. And another one you're going to have to do in lesson 2.1 is absolute value. So let's find absolute value, and it is located right here under this math key. This is the same key you press when you want to convert fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. So I press math, there's fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. For absolute value, I need to move over here to num. So moving over there, this first one that says ABS is absolute value. So I'm going to go ahead and press 1 for that. And I've got absolute value symbols up here in my y equal where I'm going to put my function in. So again, the only variable I know is x. X is right here under this key. Now, if all I'm going to do is the absolute value of x, I need to get out from underneath here. You don't want to press enter. You need to get out of absolute value land over here. So let's get out of there. And just to be interesting, oh, it went right back in because I pressed the arrow key, went over. Okay, so get out from under it, inside it, and let's go ahead and put a -2 just to see what it does. Okay, so let's graph this with this button. And that's what that absolute value function looks like, graphed. Let's look at the table. So the table's right here in blue. I'm going to press second and graph, and I have the table. All right, let's see what we've got in this table. There's 3, 4, 5, 6. These are x input values, and these are the y output values that go with it. If I press the up arrow a few times, I can see all of those along the way. Here's all the negatives. I hit 0, and then I go to the positives. Do you notice something about these? When we did the real number systems, the x values that are going to appear here in this table are always integers. So you can't see anything else here but integers. It's sort of interesting and it gets useful later on. All right, just to wrap things up, let's do one more. So second mode, we got completely out. We're going to go back in now. Press y equal to go back in. Here's the one we just did, so press clear to clear that out. Let's do something with a squared option. So let's do, that's right here, x squared. Let's put something in front of it. Let's do a negative, and that's this key down here. -2 x squared. Oops, I didn't get an x squared. Go back and clear it out. -2. I had to put the x in. I forgot. I've got to put the x in right there, and then I need to square it. That worked much better. So to repeat, I needed to press the 2, and then put in the variable, and then press the x squared button. Okay, that's enough for that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the graph on this. So I press graph, and it's right down here. And in 2.1, you're going to learn what the shape of this graph is and what just happened here. And let's go look at that table. Table is the blue key, second, graph, and I can page through all of these, scrolling up and down to find values to complete my table, which is what I'm going to have to do in lesson 2.1. All right, hopefully you're getting really good with your calculator. Here's another skill, and there will be more later on. Have a good day. Bye.